Elorrio, a song of love. Euskal Herria straddles both sides of the Pyrenees and takes its name and nature from Euskera, its millenary language. It is made up of 7 territories grouped within 2 states, France to the north and Spain to the south. In the historic territory of Bizkaia, on the eastern end of the Duranguesado valley, protected by the Lady of Amboto, at the foot of Mount Udalatx and bathed by the waters of the Zumelegi river, lies Elorrio. Elorrio, a place to head for? A point of departure. A journey of colours, scents and flavours. A dreamy destination that calls you to wander through the old neighbourhoods that gave rise to this small town. Exploring these paths here, the soul is roused and one's eyes are filled with light at the beauty of the place, the exuberance of the natural environment, the distinctiveness of its country homesteads. We can still hear the echo of other times in these haunts today. The murmur of experiences lived, stories long gone. You can still hear the beat of the earth too, in the fruit trees, orchards, in the vineyards. Although we know we are to perish, that we consist of organic matter and are, accordingly, destined to fade, we are able to recognize our ancestors' traces, hewn in stone. From the chapel of San Adrian in the neighborhood of Zenita, we sense the pulse of Arguiñeta. It's the most important necropolis in Euskal Herria, with 6 funerary steles and 21 graves, 2 of them with inscriptions in Latin. We unquestionably stand before the oldest Christian stone in Bizkaia. It was 921, that is to say, the year was 883. The old church porch of San Agustín de Echevarría, a centre of worship and meeting place for locals, is at the same time the birthplace of Elorrio. The town and its later prosperous growth sprang from here. Elorrio was founded in 1356 by Don Tello, Lord of Biscay. In its origins, it was protected by a wooden enclosure, but owing to its frailty as a defensive structure and its vulnerability to fire, a sturdy stone wall was built in its place. Opening the town's door to progress and to growth, the wall was almost completely demolished in the 19th century, making way for the Elorrio we know in our times. The square in the heart of Elorrio is where life in this village manifests itself most intensely, a place to get together, to converse and to play. But in other days it was also a place for public punishment. The town hall was constructed between the 17th and 18th centuries. And next to the square, the fronton, or ball court. Basques are famous for their passion for the game of pelota. There are even those who say it runs in their genes. The Basilica of the Purísima Concepción, the highest building in Elorrio, is crowned by a magnificent tower, unique in all Bizkaia. Construction of what was to be a late Gothic temple began in 1459, but was not completed until 2 centuries later, hence the Renaissance features we see today. Inside, its singular luminosity enhances the main altarpiece, created by Diego Martínez de Arce, and the effect is awe-inspiring. Valentín de Berriochoa, the glory of Elorrio. We all long to attain happiness someday, and cannot close our eyes to signs that point us toward the good road. And he set out at a very young age on his path to sainthood, until he was finally beheaded in Tonkin. San Valentin, the second patron saint of Bizkaia, died yearning for his mother, his hometown, and God. Crosses that mark and show us the way, boundaries that chart limits, as well as the promise of new avenues. In our constant comings and goings, we still yearn for far horizons where we can find the land of our dreams, to then love and protect it, for nothing is bleaker than being forced to live where you don't feel at home. Dotted around the town, 9 crosses rise in splendour, showing the life path to pursue. The oldest, and one of the most striking, is the cross of Gurutjara. Dating back to 1522, in late Gothic style, the carving of its figures is extraordinary and exquisite. Elorrio, declared to be of historic cultural interest, carved in stone. Fountains, stone crosses, coats of arms, chapels and churches, homesteads and palaces. Masterful hands capable of drawing out the very essence of stone and of lending form to palaces where dreams are stored, to temples for praising God, and stone crosses to guide the travellers on their way. Such is the richness of its monuments that visitors can only contemplate them through the eyes of the spirit. The forms are worked in accordance with times and customs, as images in transit, in an attempt to transmit the living essence of the town. The forging of this monumental heritage began in the 16th century at the hands of the skillful merchants of Elorrio, who made their fortunes by exporting to Europe, and above all to America, steel products of excellent quality, made from the wealth of iron extracted from the many mines of Amboto and Udalatx. Each year, on the first Sunday in October, Elorrio rings to the sound of shots and is filled with smoke, processions and dances. It is the fiesta of the Erebombilloak, the origins of which are unknown, but the event is deeply rooted among locals. Every year the bronze statue is made flesh in the shape of 15 armed youngsters, both boys and girls, who parade the streets from daybreak, marching and firing gunpowder salutes at the symbolic points of the town. Armed women on parade? Yes, this is Elorrio. According to some versions, the celebration is to commemorate the victory of the Christians over the Turks at the Battle of Lepanto. But it seems to make more sense that this military demonstration has its origins in the countless battles that the town waged to defend itself, in bloody partisan struggles, in quarrels with the French, English, Portuguese, Castilians, in the Carlist Wars. In the end, now sick of fighting, they prefer to celebrate them. The echoes of the past still resound here. The memory of old trades, the sound of hammering on the anvil with its endless tiriki tauki tauki. We need to know where we come from to glimpse our future. A couple of tree trunks and 4 sticks sufficed to create the chalaparta. And when we learnt that simply breathing produced music, Euskera came into being. In Elorrio every year, there is a convergence of musics of several colours and from different countries, representing so many other cultures and traditions, filling each corner of the valley with beauty, wisdom and feeling. A cultural offering that is hard to beat. And the rooster has crowed for the big fiesta. These celebrations start the first Sunday of September and keep on going for a whole week. It is said that if a man doesn't go to the fair, you can even tell from his beret. And that is why local farmers are there early, greeting first one friend and then another, checking out the farm produce, or on the lookout for the best cattle. Everyone is agreed that the best livestock in the area come to this fair. The way Elorrio folk speak, which is at the heart of their local identity, is pleasant, natural, harmonious. The saying goes that you lose your origins, you lose your identity. And that is why we champion Basque as the driving force behind our nature and our customs, the protector of our existence. Since our bodies need not just rest, but also recreation, the heart marks the rhythm of our feet. What pleasure to share with friends, because a community is built collectively and through friendship. Life prevails here in all its plenitude, and fantasy breaks out in all its expression. Elorrio, a good reason for remembrance. Elorrio, a place to love, with its flowers and its thorns.